The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's helpline session with your host, Craig Proctor.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Today's your opportunity to get all your questions answered. We can take questions about anything that's happening in your business. Happy to talk to everybody here today. You can get your questions answered either audio-wise, you can raise your hand, or you can type your questions into the chat box. And Andrea, I'm going to ask you to read me the chat questions as they come in order. And the questions can be about anything, okay? For our brand new group, this is fairly new to you, so you can ask questions about your marketing, about follow-up, about your contact management system, about your team, about your broker, whatever is on your mind. And what I'm hoping is throughout the week that you are writing down questions as you have questions. Make sure you write them down. If you don't write them down, you're probably not going to retain them. Also, you can ask your coach, your one-on-one coach, any of the questions that you have. You've got 24/7 access to email to your coach. Also, my office toll-free number is 1-800-538-1034. So let's go over to Andrea. And Andrea, do we have any questions that we can take at this point?
We do, and if you haven't done so, go ahead and raise your hand by clicking the hand icon on your control panel or typing in the chat box. We have Yvette said, good morning. How do we use the universal callback script with leads obtained through the HDX page since they do the property search themselves?
Well, the universal callback script can be used universally. That's why we call it the universal callback script. So if the HDX is just a form of IDX, right? It's Success Website's version of IDX. They call it HDX, just in case some of you didn't know that. So some of you would use Commissions Inc., for example. Look, you're just following up. If Andrea was my prospect, I'd say, hi, Andrea. It's Craig Proctor with ABC Realty. I noticed you've accessed some property listings on our site, and I just wanted to follow up and see if you folks were planning on making a move the next 3 to 6 months, and you go right through that universal callback script. So the only thing that requires a slight change is the intro, the reason why you're calling. If they were requesting a hot list of properties, like a list of fixer-uppers or a list of luxury properties or a list of homes in Glenway Estates, I would say, Andrea, it's Craig Proctor here with ABC Realty, and the reason I'm calling is because I received a request for the luxury list or the fixer-uppers or whatever. And if it was a special report, I would say, the costly home seller special report. So that's the only thing that changes is your reason why you're calling them. Okay, other than that, everything remains exactly the same.
Our next question from Patrick. Can your reports be formatted so they can be an email content and not an attachment?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know most of our members send out an attachment, but I can find that out. Andrea, maybe you could ask Adrian if they could be emailed out. I don't think so. I think it's usually done in an attachment because what we want in your email is that's basically your cover letter, right? In your email, you should be saying, who you are and why you're emailing them and what is attached. Okay, that's the way I would do it, but I will check into that and see if it can be just an email. Next question, please.
Okay, this is Bruce. I am a new coaching member, having signed up in Fort Lauderdale. I'm planning to go to Anaheim next month. Should I stay for the 4th bonus day?
Okay, good question. There is no 4th bonus day. There's 3 days. Here's the confusion. Our platinum members are meeting the day before. Okay, so the platinum conference and coaching members that have been in coaching for several months are invited to that meeting. They're meeting the day before. I believe it's the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Let's pull up these dates here. Now I'm confused. Can you pull that up, Andrea, please?
So we have on your screen right now, and we're talking about the Platinum Conference in Anaheim. The one,
Yes.
yes. So the conference dates are April 14th through the 16th.
Okay. I think I know what we're talking about. I think that fourth day is Commission Inc. training, I believe. But I think the Platinum Conference is 3 days. The main session that I'm doing is 3 days. So 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay, that's 3 days. Right? So it's a 3-day conference.
Getting some information that they may be referring to the sync on Sunday. So, and then more and more saying, yes, it's sync. So.
Okay, so if you don't have Commissions Inc., then you wouldn't probably want to stay for that because that's what that extra day is about. Okay, so let's just go to craigproctor.com for 1 second. I just want to verify the dates. I believe the main conference is April 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay, so that's the conference I'm doing, and the Platinum meeting starts the day before. Okay, so it's 15th, 16th, and 17th. That's the main conference. The Platinum conference would start the day before, and the fourth day must be the Commissions Inc. training. Maybe you can shoot Todd Walters an email and verify that for me, Andrea, please.
I will do that.
All right, next question.
Okay, Rez Van asks, please give me ideas I can do for a new listing to get more business.
Well, each listing you should be able to leverage that and get many, many more listings. So one thing that you could do is you could put a sign rider on or extra signage. I'm really big on that because I want to differentiate my listing from all other listings. You can use a toll-free number. See, the idea is not just to try to sell that listing. The idea is to try to get many more listings. So you could send out just listeds. You could send out just solds using direct response advertising. Do we have any examples, Andrea, of just listeds or just solds where we offer an area home sales report?
We probably do. I would just have to do a little searching for it.
Okay, well, let's not take you away from doing the questions right now. But the main reason or way you can turn every listing into many more listings is to be really, really good at answering the ad inquiries, whether it be a sign call or inquiries about that listing if you're advertising it. Most agents are not very good at call conversion. May I remind everybody that the vast majority of prospects, of buyers that respond and call you about one of your listings are not going to buy that property. Okay, you know that, right? They're going to tell you it's too big, it's too small, it's in the wrong location or whatever. I find that most agents do not do a very good job at converting that prospect to a face-to-face appointment. In other words, the agent talks about their listing, the buyer eliminates it, and that's the end of the phone call. Okay, you don't even get the prospect's phone number. You don't ask them any of the qualifying questions in the universal callback script. Bottom line, you don't get them as a client. So the purpose of promoting your listing, whether it's the for sale sign or an ad online or offline, the real purpose of that advertisement is not to sell the property. It's to get lots of buyers to call you. Many of those buyers will have homes to sell. So that's why each listing for me turned into many, many other listings. Now, we have done mystery shopping with our coaching members where, Andrea, I will call their office. I'll pretend I'm a buyer and I'll call their office. I'll say to our member, give me the name of one of your listings, the address of one of your listings, and I'll call their office. And whoever answers the phone, quite often it's an assistant, will give me all the information without even getting my name, my contact information. So the person answering the phone will get absolutely nothing, and I'll get everything. I'll get the price, I'll get the address. Most importantly, I'll get a reason to eliminate the property and hang up. Okay, so again, many realtors falsely assume that the reason we're advertising a listing is to try to sell what we have, and the real purpose of the ad should be to call out to who we most want to attract. Okay, I see we've got a postcard from Bill Watson up on the screen. Okay, so yes, this really isn't a just sold. He is talking about one of his sold properties, but I'll share with you guys, maybe on one of our upcoming ad clinics, we'll pull a couple of just listed and just solds. But what you want to offer is an area home sales report. Too many agents send out a just listed and it's got a picture of the property and the address. Well, like, who cares? Where's the offer? There's no offer. Or sending out a just sold. Okay, well, there's no offer. So what we want to have a direct response offer that offers the neighbors who might be thinking of selling an opportunity to get an area home sales report with our current home sales and recent sales. Okay, that's the offer we want to make with just listed and just solds. So we've got signage, we've got just listed and just sold cards. Okay, you've got to be really good at handling the inquiries when they come in. You need to be able to write your ad, when you're writing the ad, in such a manner that you're not eliminating potential prospects. Understand, when you insert a specific price, anybody looking above or below that price is not going to call you. Okay, if it's a 2-bedroom home, that might sound too small. So just because, I'm not saying lie, I'm not saying say it's a 3-bedroom if it's only a 2-bedroom. I'm just saying there's no real estate law that says you have to specify it's a 2-bedroom just because it is. But again, agents have the wrong focus, right? We're focused on trying to perfectly describe what we have because we're looking for that needle in a haystack. We're looking for that one buyer that's going to call us and buy the property. And that's not the big opportunity. The big opportunity is to get the dozens of other buyers that maybe would never buy that property to contact you so you can sell them something else and get their listing. Next question, please.
Now, I picked this question because it's something all of our newer members and all of our even seasoned members need to be doing, and it's testing. Jordan has been running the divorce ad editorial, and he's been testing different editorial ads. He's gotten zero response, though, 0 leads. Should he try to run it again in the future or never run it again?
Well, Andrea, maybe everyone in Jordan's community is happily married.
Yeah.
Spoken like a married person. Eh? Look, I think you should not keep doing the same thing if it's not working. You should test a variation of the ad, or you should test running the ad in different places. So let me be clear on this. First of all, let's start off with what I don't want you guys to do. I don't want you running the same ad in the same place exactly how it is over and over and over again if it doesn't work. On the other hand, here's what I do want you to do. What I want you to do is to change some of the dynamics, whether it be the headline or where you run the ad, before you say this doesn't work. Because, Andrew, we see members sometimes give up way too early on either a campaign or a medium. Sometimes it's the medium, right, Andrea? They'll run an ad in a certain newspaper and it doesn't work, and they say, well, the newspaper doesn't work, when a different ad in that publication would work. Or you run something on Facebook and it doesn't work the first time, well, then Facebook doesn't work. So that's the beauty of direct response advertising. You'll get an immediate direct response every time you test. And what you're testing is the approach. There's 3 variables here. Okay, there's the message or the ad. Okay, we call it the ad, the message. There's how you're delivering the message, whether it be Facebook or Google or print or direct mail or whatever. And then there's the target market. So maybe, for example, this ad is being targeted to a marketplace where, I don't know, they're happily married. But you want to test these. But if you can't get it to work, I want you guys to stop. Do not waste your money on doing things that do not work. You make the changes. If you can't get it to work, you move on. There's lots of other campaigns that you can run, lots of other ads, lots of ways to do this. Sometimes I think we perhaps fall in love with what we're doing because it's our creation. Don't do that. Okay, you've got to fail your way to success in marketing. That's what happens. Is nobody's born a great marketer. Okay, you fail your way to success. You test, you fail, you test, you fail until you figure out what's going to work the best for you. Next question.
Well, I also want to suggest, Jordan, I know we've looked at some of your marketing in the past on the Ad Clinic, but please submit everything, especially editorials, because there's so many tweaks that can be done to make an editorial work or not work, depending on where it's placed next to and that type of information. Excuse me. We have Edward, and he says, I'm new to the system and I want to run the guaranteed sale program. I'm worried about how most sellers will react when you tell them the guaranteed price for the house being well below market value. How do you transition from telling them the price you will buy the house at and getting back to where you list the house in the normal way?
Well, look, they already usually don't like your price when you're not discounting market value. Right? They normally don't like that. So you're right. The sellers usually want more than market value, but with the guaranteed sale program, we can't guarantee more than market value because you would end up getting stuck owning the home. And we don't even want to risk guaranteeing market value. So you're going to decide what kind of discount you're going to offer in your program. It's your program. It could be 5%, it could be 10%, but here's how you explain it. I would say, Andrea, this is a guarantee that I'm offering that none of the other realtors in town are offering you. You don't have to take my guarantee. You can move up and you can buy one of my listings without a safety net. And if your house doesn't sell in 120 days, well, congratulations, Andrea, you bought 2 homes. So I'm offering you an insurance policy that no other realtor in the area would offer you. I'm offering you 95% of market value. They might say, well, Andrew might say, well, gee, Craig, why can't you offer 100% of market value? To which I'd say, well, Andrew, if I offered to buy everyone's home for 100% of market value, no one else in town would even bother trying to list and sell their home. They just call Craig and he'd come over and buy it for 100% of market value. So unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't offer 100% of market value. But it's an insurance policy that I'm offering that no other realtor will offer you. Now, if your home, we all believe it's worth 100% of market value, an outside buyer comes in and they offer you 100% of market value, you're going to get the higher offer. Okay, you're always going to get the higher offer, whether it's my guarantee or a higher offer from an outside buyer. So you're doubly protected. That's the way I would explain it. Now, not all sellers are going to go for it, just like not all sellers will even accept your assessment of market value. But here's what you'll find is the prospects want the guarantee more than you and I want to give it. So you've got a little bit of leverage, right? Because what's their other choice? Well, you have to go in with a firm cash offer. Sometimes they'll say to me, well, have another realtor, Craig, that says, your guarantee is a low ball and you're just going to, rip me off and buy the property for a much lower price than what it's worth. To which I would say, well, here's my paperwork. Go see if that other realtor will sign this. Go see if the other realtor will guarantee to buy your home at 95% of market value if it doesn't sell. And of course, the other realtor would never do that. So look, you don't want to force the issue. If they're not going to accept the terms of your guaranteed sale program, well, guess what? Just list their home normally. Think about it. You're at their kitchen table. You're sitting down across from somebody that wants to sell their home, and the reason they called you was because of the guaranteed sale program. But if they don't want to abide by your rules, then you can't admit them into the program. So just do it the normal way, overprice their house and try to work them down, I guess. Next question.
Well, before we go on, I did hear from Todd about the fourth bonus day, so I want to go ahead and clarify. It's called, that fourth bonus day is Craig Proctor's Millionaire Agent Platform Day. It's being hosted by the training team at Commissions Inc., and you can find all the information on the agenda for that weekend when you download it from the coaching site.
Okay, so let me take a crack at this from the top because I've even confused myself here. But I'm going to explain it to everybody. So everyone listen, this is how it's going to work. For those of you in coaching, you have two choices, okay? You can sit through the main conference again. So for example, you folks from Fort Lauderdale, I don't know how many of you are flying out to California, but you could come and listen to essentially the same conference that I gave in Fort Lauderdale a couple weeks ago. Or you could go to the Platinum Coaching, basically the adult table, and you could sit there, okay? And we've added a fourth day. If you have Commissions Inc. or you want to get Commissions Inc., it's a training day that Commissions Inc. is putting on, not us. Okay, so that's the fourth day. I mean, it'll be all our members there, but it's going to be hosted and paid for by Commissions Inc. So the main conference that I'm doing is 3 days. It's April 15th, 16th, and 17th, okay, which is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Say 15th, 16th, and 17th. That's the main Craig Proctor Super Conference. On the 16th, the second day of that 3-day conference, we have Dave Liniger, who's the co-founder of Remax International. He's going to be speaking on the Saturday. Now, don't worry if you're in the Platinum Coaching room, that'll be next to my main session. You're all going to be invited to hear Dave Liniger. So everyone, whether you're in coaching or Platinum, doesn't matter. We're all going to be together for Dave Liniger's talk Saturday, April 16th at 11 a.m. Now, for those of you that are in coaching, you probably don't want to come to the main conference that you've already been to. You probably do want to go to the Coaching Platinum room. Okay, that starts a day before. So that starts on Thursday, April the 14th, Friday, April the 15th, and ends Saturday, April the 16th. But on Sunday the 17th, one of our vendor partners, Commission Inc., who we have a private label with, we're the only company working with Commissions Inc. that has a private label. It's called the CP Millionaire Agent System. Okay, CP Mass. You can guess what CP stands for. So we have licensed our follow-up materials to Commissions Inc. It's an IDX. For those of you who don't know what Commissions Inc. Is all about, it's an IDX. And we work, they're one of the vendors we work with, just like we work with Success Website, just like we work with Automated Marketing Solutions, just like we work with Bold Leads and ZBuyer and many other vendors. So if you have Commissions Inc., you may want to stay for that fourth day, but it is that event is being sponsored by Commissions Inc. So hopefully everybody's clear on this.
So to go in a little further, some of our members are asking, what is Commissions Inc.? Maybe they've never heard of it.
Okay, Commissions Inc. is an IDX. So look, I'm going to show everybody what it is. You're going to flip this over to me in a minute, but let me make sure I can get on here, Andrea, my dear. Let's see here.
And while you're doing that, everyone, you can get the agenda you're seeing on your screen right now, the Happy Days agenda, on the coaching member site. Just click on Schedule, Events, and then Download Agenda. And make sure you reserved your seat.
Yes, that's important. We need to know who's coming. Okay, so let's see if I can get in here. Okay, you want to flip this? Oh, nope, I'm not there. Hang on.
And just a quick reminder too, Todd brought this up in the last Platinum conference. If you know you cannot make it, don't reserve your seat. We had a few no-shows, so to avoid getting extra materials that aren't needed, just if you can't make it at all, please don't reserve a seat.
Yeah, okay, so at the Fort Lauderdale Coaching and Platinum event, the room could only hold 100. Not the event that I was running in the next room, we had, I don't know, 300 or 400 people, but in the Platinum Coaching room, we were we were restrained by space. We only had room for 100. So we cut it off when 100 people register, and then about 30 people don't show up. Okay, we had a waiting list of other members that would have loved to attend that event, but we couldn't let them in. So yeah, please let us know if you're not going to show up, because it kind of matters, because we produce and drag down to all these conferences materials for everybody, and we have a waiting list at most of these events. So what's happening here is we announce a training event, and I think the attitude is, well, I'll just sign up in case I'll go, or me and a couple of my assistants will just sign up in case we decide to go to this thing, and then you forget about it. So don't forget about it. If you're gonna register, you got to show up, or at least let us know you're not going to show up. To be fair to the members that don't get there first, and they're on this waiting list, and they're told no, they can't come, and then we have 30 empty seats, and that's exactly what happened in Fort Lauderdale at the Coaching Platinum Bootcamp.
Are you ready?
Yes, flip it over, please.
It's all yours.
All right, well, thank you, Andrea. All right, does everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is my brother-in-law, Frank. You folks have all met my sister, Kim. Okay, so this is his IDX. Okay, so this is for our hometown in Newmarket. If you were a buyer and you want to look for homes, let's say in Aurora, or let's just say in Newmarket, this is the IDX. Okay, so you can look at all the houses, you can see all the information, and it includes a nice picture of the house, the price of the house, the address. So now I want to get some more information. Well, to get some more information, now the prospect has to log in. Okay, and I don't know why that didn't show up. I think I need to reboot my computer here, Andrea. Let's try another one. Okay, there. Well, did the same thing. Okay, that's just because I need to reboot my computer. But you have to enter your name, your email address, and your phone number. Okay, it's an IDX. Okay, most of you are familiar with an IDX. Okay, so this is our private label version of it. Let's go back and, yeah, I really need to reboot my computer. I have too many things open here. Okay, so let's have a look at homes for sale in Aurora. Okay, that's the other side of that. All right, now we're going to sign in. And it's not going to let me do that because I'm having problems here. I apologize, everyone. Let me try this one more time. Okay, now it's working. Remind me to reboot my computer, Andrew. I've got a million things open here. Okay, so now we're going to go to leads. And here are the leads that have come in so far this morning. Okay. So it tells you the person's name, their phone number, their email address. They visited the site 16 hours ago. They're looking in this average price range of $408,000. They want to make their move in 3 to 6 months. They've only visited the site once. Okay, where Sheila here, okay, Sheila has been to the site twice, 15 hours ago, 6 hours ago, and we can't give you a full lesson on how this works right now, but that's what they're going to do on that 4th day. They're going to show you how to optimize the use of this thing.
So what people are asking is, how is this different from Success? Why would I choose this over them, or should I have both?
It's just a different one. Look, some of you that have been with us for quite a while are using a number of different vendors to generate leads. For example, Bold Leads is another affiliation we have, or ZBuyers. These are all different companies that will help you generate leads. And if you were to talk to our successful members that use a number of these different companies, if you were to ask them, well, why would you use Success Website and Commissions Inc. and Bold Leads or ZBuyer or any of these lead generation companies, why would you do that? Why would you use more than one? Here's what they would say to you: because I make way more money than what it costs me. So think of it this way. You go to Las Vegas. I'm trying to think of an analogy here. You go to Las Vegas, and if you could win playing roulette and you could win playing blackjack, if you knew you were going to win, if you knew your return was going to be more than the money you had to lay down on the table, would you play both roulette and blackjack if you knew you were going to win? Well, our members have established the result. They know the results. They've been testing using these different vendors, and they make more money than what it costs them by far for these services. So they decide, well, I'd like to have multiple sources of income. Okay, I would like to make, 30 times my investment on this vendor and 20 times my investment on this vendor and 10 times my investment. They're making more money than what they're investing. So, that's the idea here. Is I would think most of you would be open to testing anything, and once you determine that you make far more, your return, your ROI is far more than your original investment, then that might be something you might be interested in keeping. So what we're doing with Commissions Inc. is we private labeled it. Okay, we're the only company to have a private label, and our follow-up materials are going to be provided to Commissions Inc. So you've got the benefit of all the Craig Proctor follow-up pieces. Okay, now another vendor we work with is SmartZip. Okay, SmartZip licensed some of the copy for their postcards. Okay, many of you are familiar with SmartZip. It's another vendor. So as you evolve in the program, we will introduce you to other vendors. You can talk to other Craig Proctor coaching members that are using these vendors, and then you can decide. If one good lead generation source, like if one is good, why wouldn't 4 or 5 be even better? That's the idea. All right, Andrea, I'll give you control again, and let's continue on with some more questions.
Give me just 1 second. Let me go ahead and take my screen back. Okay. This question is often popular when we come back from a super conference and have new members. If you have a limited budget for marketing, where would you start? Google, Facebook, print? I am in South Florida and competition is brutal and most buyers are international.
Well, competition is pretty brutal everywhere. I think in Toronto, where I'm from, one person in every 140 people is a real estate agent. Okay, there's a lot of real estate agents, so there's a lot of competition out there. So it makes sense that when you're new with the program, you would start not with the most expensive marketing, you would start with the least expensive, right? So that's the point, is yes, we absolutely want to start with things that require very small investments, small budgets. So for example, I think Rick Brash says his budget on Facebook is like $8 to $10 a day. Doesn't break the bank. You could use Craigslist. Doesn't cost you anything. Or in Canada, Kijiji. Okay, you could run small little print ads, little display ads in your local paper. Depending where you are, these ads might cost you, $40 or $50. You could send out postcards. I think it's about 17 cents a piece in the US to send out a direct mail piece with the Every Door Direct program. So you're going to start with the least inexpensive, and if it works, you're going to do more of it. But even some of the campaigns that you would feel are more expensive, please understand that it's a bad way to kind of make a decision just based on what the ad costs. Ultimately, we want to focus on our ROI, our return on investment. So let me give you an example. Let's say that there was a marketing opportunity that was going to cost you $1,000. Now, I understand right now some of you might say, well, I don't have $1,000 to do it. Well, that's why we're going to start with the least expensive marketing and work our way up. But even if a campaign cost $1,000, but you knew that every time you invested $1,000, you'd get a $10,000 commission check. You'd at least get one buyer or listing sale out of that. You'd probably keep doing it, right? Our goal in this program is to help you spend the least amount of money on marketing and get the highest return, the highest ROI. And that's why every Friday we do an ad clinic, and we tweak and we test, and you get to see other members submit their ads. And that's the goal, is what should we be doing? How can we learn as a group exactly what we should be doing to spend the least amount of money, but get the highest response, and not just in number of leads, okay, actual return of dollars in your pocket. See, some of you, and this is important to talk about, some of you become confused when it comes to lead generation. You're distracted by the number of leads versus the quality of the leads or the return on investment. So, for example, if you run the distress sale ad and you generate a dozen leads and you don't convert any of them, and then there's maybe an area home sales report or an online home evaluation campaign, and you generate, say, 3 leads. You might look at that and say, well, 12 leads is better than 3, so I'll continue with the distress sale campaign. But if you converted even one of those 3 leads on the online home evaluation campaign and made a $10,000 commission check, you converted none of the 12 leads on the distress sale campaign. Well, which campaign was better? Okay, so it's not about the number of leads, it's about your return on investment. You know, with this program, as I promised all of you, I will never ever ask you to spend even a penny on marketing and advertising where it can't be tracked. And when you can track, you're always going to know your return on investment. You know your initial investment, you know what you're spending, and you're going to always know what the return is. And then we're going to tweak and test the message, the marketplace, and the medium to try to optimize that.
And this is the point where I like to remind everybody one of my favorite sessions, session 3, direct response lead generation. We learn all about this with Craig, and he goes into detail of exactly how he tested in his response. So some of our members haven't gotten there yet, but some will get there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, when we get to coaching session number 3, here's what we do. This is the session where I show you the ads that I ran. I show you the exact ads I ran. I show you where I ran them, and I show you how much the ad cost, what I invested. I show you how many leads I generated, and I show you what my return on investment is. So you get an idea. I show you exactly, well, here's what I did. Here was the strategy. Here's what I tested. Here's where I ran the ads. Here's what I tweaked. Here's what I determined. And here's, after the initial testing, and this is what I believe you would all want to know, is there's an end to this where you now know what's going to work the best for you, and then you just keep doing it over and over and over again. Isn't that what you folks want? Right? You want to know, well, what should I do every single week to generate a steady stream of high quality leads? So in the initial, weeks and months, you're doing this testing, but you're going to determine for you what works the best in your marketplace. And then it's easy. Just keep doing it over and over and over again. And you're going to know every single week how many leads you can expect to generate, how many appointments you can expect to go on, how many listings you can reasonably expect to take on, and how many buyer contracts. Most importantly, how many sales every month. It brings stability to your real estate business. This system brings predictability. The analogy I use, Andrea, is this. This system is like insulin to the diabetic, right? Insulin stabilizes the blood sugar level in a diabetic. You see, most real estate agents, they don't have stability at their income. It's good month, bad month, good month, bad month. Their income is up and down like a toilet seat. And that's what causes stress. So we want to fix that. So let's stabilize it. Wouldn't it be great to have some certainty to know every week and every month predictably how much money you've got coming in? That's the idea. And then we get better and better at it over time. And then the income starts to go up and up and up. Next question.
Okay, I thought we could break it up a little. We have Harry Kimbrough with his hand raised. We can take an audio question from him. Harry, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Good morning, Harry.
How are you, Craig?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Say, with me just getting back into the coaching again, would you advise me to get right into plats, or I was thinking it might be smarter to get a good foundation before I made the move into plats? What's your opinion?
Yeah, most of our members do about 4 months of the coaching program before they decide to go into the Platinum program. And for those of you that are new with us, the Platinum program generally is, they're realtors that have been in our coaching program for a number of years. You know, you're going to be in there with some of our members that have been involved in the program for 10 or 15 years or longer. But most importantly, Harry, as you know, you're sitting with some of these big shooters that are making, you know, in the millions of dollars. So it's kind of nice to rub shoulders with somebody that's sitting on your left that's making $2 or $3 million a year, and someone on your right that's doing the same.
Yeah, when I was in coaching before, my team did $1 million, and then I got my cancer. So I'm anxious to get back up to that.
Well, you can certainly sit in the Platinum session at the April conference. Are you going to be attending that one?
No, I had a couple closings fall through, so cash is tight. Okay,
well, look, the best thing I'm going to recommend to all of you folks is to try to get to all the training. Honestly, the members that are the most successful with this program are the members that come to all the training events. And Harry, you know that from your time with us before. The guys that routinely come to the conference and they're on all the webinars, they're the ones that have the most success. There's a very direct correlation between participation in these events and success. So hopefully you can make it out to as many as you can.
Yep, I made it to 16 before I got sick, and my income multiplied tenfold, so it's definitely a good investment.
Well, let's get you back there again. We want Harry to be back on top, but that's quite amazing, a tenfold increase while you're with the program. So glad to see you're getting healthy here and you're back in the program, and it's great having you back here.
Thanks, Craig.
And Harry, let me mention, we have a Platinum Test Drive program that just got started. If you haven't been included on that, you've been with us for a while. You should be able to contact Andre at Todd's office, and he can possibly get you on so you can really see what it's about.
Yeah, I've got a call today at 1:30 with a gentleman about the Plat program.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harry. Okay, we'll go on to Janet's question. Will any of the sessions go into detail of how to fully utilize all the components of Success Website?
Well, Steve Raitt will be doing presentations for both the meetings in Anaheim, if we're referring to the Anaheim conference. So he'll be doing a meeting in the main room with me, but he'll be also doing a presentation in the coaching and platinum room as well. Also, you can contact Success Website at any time, and they're happy to answer your questions. They do have recorded webinars. From time to time, they do live webinars as well.
We do a monthly internet helpline session also where you can ask any of your Success Website questions, and the next one will be on a Monday, the 11th of April. And I know that they do Jumpstart webinars with Christy Filion on Thursdays, but I'm not exactly sure of the time because we don't host those, but they have lots of training available.
Yep, that's right. Once a month, we have Steve Raitt, the founder of Success website, come on the helpline call that we're doing right now. So we do 3 that are just Q&A like this, and the 4th Monday, so April 11th will be the next one. Steve Raitt will be with us, and it'll just be about Success website and how to use it and online lead generation. Okay, but as Andrea said, they have lots of live webinars and recorded webinars, orientation webinars to help those of you that, especially those of you that are new with this, and how to get started.
Okay, we have a hand raised from Ellen Levy. Please go ahead, Ellen.
Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Ellen. How you doing this morning?
I'm okay. I typed a question into the chat box. I'm quite puzzled about this. I've several times run an ad in a nice little local monthly newspaper, which is award-winning and well-read. 11 home inspection traps to avoid. I get decent response. The last one, I've gotten about 9 responses. I have been unable to reach most of the people when I've called them, but the ones I have reached, even though some of them, most of them said they wanted report number 2, and 2 of them said they wanted numbers 1 and 2. But when I spoke to them, they all said that they weren't really planning to sell, or they had no idea when they might sell. And one of them listened to the point and answered to the point where I said, do you have an agent to help you when the time is right? And she said, no. And then she said, actually, I'm on the other line. Thank you very much for the brochure. Goodbye. But she was very nice about it. So I don't usually have trouble getting to first base or second or third or home runs. I've been in real estate for a while, not with your system, which I'm enthusiastic about, and I think it's going to help us increase our production. But I'm puzzled. I'm following the script. I'm doing what you're saying. We have run the ad looking like the other editorial content. I have paid extra for placement.
Right, so let me interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
So your issue isn't with generating the leads. Your issue is when you're following up with some of the prospects, they're kind of blowing you off and saying, thank you, but goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a quick role play. I'm going to be one of those prospects. Ring, ring, hello.
Hello.
Yes, this is Craig. How may I help you? So Ellen,
yes.
I believe you don't have that script memorized.
Well, you're being the agent, right?
No, I'm being the prospect because I want to hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay, because that's what threw me off. I thought you were being the agent. And
No, I want to hear what I know what they're saying to you. You just explained to me the response you're getting from the prospect. So I'm going to be that prospect, but what I'm interested in is hearing what you're saying to them. So ring, ring, and I say hello.
Hi, is this Mr. Proctor?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Ellen Levy with Remax Allegiance, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for the information you wanted, and I've popped it in the mail for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, I didn't know this was coming from a real estate agent.
Well, yes, sir, it is. Are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Maybe.
Okay, if you were to move, would you be staying in the area or moving out of the area?
We would stay in the area. Okay,
and when do you think that might be?
We're not really sure.
Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
We know a realtor.
Are you 100% committed to working with that realtor when the time is right?
Not sure.
Would you be open to meeting with me and hearing what I have to offer? Not all agents are the same. We don't work the same way.
Let's stop there for a second. Okay. So you're starting off with commitment over benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said to me, would you be interested in meeting with me? And now you're going to go on and communicate the benefit, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think we should do here with this guy? I'm not being very specific, right? I'm kind of like, I don't know. You get these guys that have one-word answers. Now remember, you're not going to convert them all. What percentage of the time is this happening?
Well, given the fact that I've only managed to connect with about 3 of them, I'd say 3 out of 3.
Okay, so this is what we have to understand. Even when I was calling them myself, I didn't get everywhere with 100%. Every once in a while, somebody would be rude and someone would hang up. But when it happens a lot, then we know it's not them, it's us. Okay, so if you're 3 for 3, that's not a very big sampling. But let's look at maybe another problem as well, which is, why are you only being able to get a hold of 3? How many leads did you generate?
From that ad, I'd have to count, but I'd say 9 or 10.
9 or 10, okay. And how many times have you tried the other leads that you haven't been able to reach?
2 or 3. I've tried weekends. I've tried weekdays. Mornings.
What number are you calling from? Are you calling from your cell, your home, your office?
I'm calling from my home.
Okay.
Which is the same area code as most of their phones.
Okay. And are you eventually leaving a message?
No.
No? Okay. Well, you might want to try leave a message before you just give up on them, if you absolutely can't reach them. Have you ever tried to hit *67 before you dial the number?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay. I would experiment with that.
Okay.
Because then your name and phone number doesn't come up on their caller ID.
Okay.
Okay. I would test if you're calling, you said from your home phone number?
Yes.
Okay. Well, also try your cell phone number.
Okay.
Now, here's another technique. If you call them and it goes to voicemail, have you tried to call them right back again?
Okay. I will try that.
I just hit redial because here's how it works. If someone called you and they hung up and they didn't leave a message, they called you right back again, is there a chance maybe you might pick it up? You might think, oh, this must be something important. Mm-hmm. So there are techniques that we can use to reach more people. So 3 is not a big enough sample. Okay, we need you reaching more people. You need more practice with this script. Now, if you were to say to me, Craig, I've reached 30 prospects, and I'm consistent because I've got nowhere with all 30 of them, then it's not, the problem isn't getting a hold of people because you've reached 30 of them. The problem would be what you're saying or what you're not saying on the phone.
By the way, we're doing great with ZBuyer. My husband has just finished a listing presentation who's a buy and a sell with ZBuyer.
So that's a great.
We're talking to people. We're booking appointments. I'm just scratching my head about, the response to the editorial ad when we do reach people. I will definitely try your techniques for getting through to the folks.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how good or not good you are on the phone if you can't reach them, right?
Right.
So we've got to work on getting a hold of the people. This is what our members report to us, that the print leads are better quality in most cases than the online leads. Mm-hmm. Because think of what somebody has to do to respond to a print ad, right? They've either got to call your 800 number, listen to the recorded message and leave their message, right? Or they've got to physically, type in the domain name of the ad and go to your landing page versus Facebook or Google pay-per-click where it's easy. Click, 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 click. It's very easy to do that. So,
that's why I'm
generating leads. I want to find out, how can, what can we do to reach these leads? Because it would be a shame to give up on something where you're generating lots of leads.
Right. For a reasonable cost, too. So, okay, I will try better to reach them and then maybe report back.
Here's what I would do. Have you ever recorded your calls before?
I have not.
Okay. You can record your calls. You could record them. You should talk to your coach about this, and you could send a recording of those calls to your coach to listen to.
Okay.
And make sure you, you come on those Thursday role play calls with James McDonald and I. But role playing is the key. But I would like to, and this is for everybody. If you record your calls and you listen to yourself, just yourself listening to you on the calls is sometimes very helpful.
All righty.
Okay, so let's figure out first of all how to get a hold of them, and try some of those techniques that we talked about. And of course, every Thursday we talk in detail about all of this: how to get a hold of them, exactly what to say, how to handle the objections. For example, Ellen, here's a question from Jan Kastner, and you answered this perfectly. So Jan is asking this. She says, Craig, please review the response on the callback when the prospect says, oh, I didn't know it was coming from a realtor. Well, you handled that properly because I threw that objection at you to demonstrate this to Jan and everyone else. Sometimes, as you know, they will say that. I didn't even know this was coming from a realtor, and it's not so much an objection as an observation, and you handled it perfectly. You said, yes, it was.
Okay, I have another question for you. I got to the point where do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? And you said, well, maybe, or you had somebody you were talking to or whatever.
I said, yeah, I know a realtor.
And at that point, I went into not all realtors are the same. We have different, we charge differently. We do different things to market your home. And then you said I should be talking about benefits. And that, so how do I get from that question to would you prefer to buy before listing your home, or do you want to sell first? If I make a little side trip into not all realtors are the same, would you be open to meeting with me also?
Okay, so
if they're not 100% connected.
All right, so let me see if I can answer this for you. If they say they have an agent, you're going to ask, are you 100% committed? Now, some of them are, right? Some of them would say, well, Ellen, I am. It's my brother-in-law.
Right.
So, hey, sometimes, Ellen, they're 100% committed and they don't even want to be. Have you ever had them say, look, I'd love to use you, but I have to use my brother-in-law? Like, I don't even want to use the guy, but I have to. So,
I've had people fire their sister and listen to me.
Yes.
That's why I'm puzzled.
Okay, so, but if they say they're absolutely 100% committed, then I give it up and I just,
wish them well.
Wish them well. Have a nice day. That's what James McDonald says. In those cases, the proper response is thanks and have a nice day. Now, in many cases, though, they'll say, well, I have an agent, or I'm considering an agent, or I'm interviewing agents, to which you're going to say, there's a tremendous difference between real estate agents and what they do and how much they charge to get the job done. Ellen, do you think you might be open to meeting with me as well? As well as the key, right? Because you're not saying instead of your friend that's the agent. You're just saying, talk to, you're basically saying you can talk to whoever you want, but would you like to maybe meet with me as well? Because nobody would deny, well, there probably is a big difference between agents and what they do and how much they charge to get the job done. Now, what they don't know is you're probably going to charge more than the other realtor, but still, right? That's the job of the listing presentation. So anyway, I would like you to record your calls if you can do that for me, so I can actually hear what's going on in these live calls. But 3 is not a big enough sample. I can't say with confidence, well, you're not really good with the script because you've only done 3. It'd be very possible for me right now to call back 3 of your leads, and I could strike out on 3, right? But if this happens on 30 of them, then I don't think we can stick our head in the sand and say, well, the problem's the prospect.
Is this, given the fact that I'm getting response to the ad, but my problem is getting to the people, do you think I should change the ad?
Well, I'd say the ad's doing its job. The only time I would change the ad, if the ad's getting a good response, the only time I would stop running that ad is if indeed I called the prospects back and I spoke to more than 3 of them. I spoke to a lot of them, and I realized, well, I'm not generating the type or quality of leads that I'm interested in.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the other thing too, Ellen, is you can go to the coaching site and you can listen to me actually making phone calls.
I didn't know that one.
Prospects. Yep. Andrea maybe can show everybody how to do that, but you can actually listen to me. Well, I was selling real estate. It wasn't that long ago, and I'm talking to real buyers and sellers, and you get to hear what what I'm saying, you get to hear both sides of the conversation. And I would like for you folks all to record your calls where you legally can, and listen to yourself. And you can have your coach listen to these calls as well. It is very helpful.
All you have to do is just go to libraries, file library. I just typed in calls and ID 46, listen to Craig make follow-up calls. Hit download.
All right. If you're showing that right now, we can't see that on the screen.
Thank you for letting me know. I had paused my screen. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
So libraries, file library, then just type in calls in the search, and it's right there, ID 46. Listen to Craig make follow-up calls.
Okay, Rick Brash has just typed in that he routinely would record his calls and send it to his coach way back when he started. Okay, Dave Boyer has a question. I'm reading some of the chats. Dave Boyer says, once I've reserved a spot at a conference, how do I cancel? I've got family obligations that'll keep me from attending Anaheim. Dave, all you have to do is email. Who should they email, Andrea or Ruth? What do you want to do there, Andrea?
I actually, I think Anna would be the best, even Anna or your coach. I also suggest coach calling our office directly. There's no way to actually do it online yourself, but either Anna, ANA, at craigproctor.com, or just call our office, and it's 1-800-538-1034.
Okay, Michelle London's just typed in, the conference is on the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay, it depends. Here's the confusion, Michelle. We have two simultaneous conferences going on at pretty much the same time. The coaching and platinum conference starts the day before, like you've typed in here, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. But the conference for brand new members, okay, they're not in coaching. They're coming to see Craig Proctor for the first time. That starts a day later on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. All right, Karen Dorn has just typed in a question. And Karen says, hopefully you can respond to my question above. Can you find that question, please, Andrea?
Yes, I have it all grouped together. So her question is, when we respond to a request for information on distressed homes in a specific area, do we always send a list from MLS by email after we speak with them? She goes on to say, since distress can mean many things, do we send all homes in their price range even though it may not fit their criteria?
No, we're asking them, whether they call into your hotline or visit your landing page, we're asking them to specify their criteria. So all you need to do is listen to the criteria that they leave you. So the message might be something like this. You know, I'm looking for new market. I want the northeast part of town. I want a 4-bedroom with a double car garage in between this price range and that price range. So you just go to MLS, you pull some of the listings off, you send a cover letter. Now, if it's a hotline lead, of course, you don't have their email address. You're going to mail the information. If it's if it comes to your website on your landing page, you're then going to email the information to them. Okay, Michelle London says she has some questions. Let's see if we can open her microphone.
Okay, hold on just one moment. I see she was clicking her hand back and forth, so I'm losing her. Let me type in her name. Michelle, your telephone line is open.
Good morning, Andrea and Craig. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. Boy, I tell you, Coach Lester Cox just loves you.
I just love him too.
So what's on your mind this morning?
Well, I have a couple questions. Number one, when you have tried everything reaching your leads, I would say out of every 10 leads we get from our Facebook advertising, maybe I can reach 2 or 3. And that's calling them days, evenings, weekends. It's trying leaving a message just like, hi, this is Michelle. Please call me back. And it's just, I'm only getting responses from maybe 2 or 3 out of 10. And that's calling them, 6, 7, 8 times.
Okay, now is this just happening with the leads you're generating from Facebook or from leads you're generating in other media as well?
No, we're only generating leads from Facebook, essentially. we need to find some new avenues to generate leads. Our others haven't really worked.
Okay, well, look, I would talk to Lester about what other media you can try in addition to Facebook. Now, I know that one of the messages that Lester was successful with is he would leave a message and it would sound something like this. Oh,
about the certificate?
Yeah, for the discount on the commission or closing
Yes,
costs.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so let me do a quick role play. So, I'm Lester, and I call your number, and I get voicemail. So I'd say, hey Michelle, it's Lester Cox from ABC Realty. Look, I received your request for the whatever, and I was trying to reach you. If you could call me back by 5 o'clock today, I have a certificate for $500 towards your home purchase or towards the commission on the sale of your home. You can reach me at, and then here's my phone number.
Yeah, I have tried that. It doesn't, people don't call back anyway.
Okay, well, have you recorded any of your calls and
Yes, and I
sent them
sent
to Lester?
them to Lester, and he says I'm getting better and better all the time.
Okay. Look, there's
no more telephone voice.
Hey, great. Well, yeah, see, I did notice that the first couple he sent me of yours, it was kind of like a little scripted, but you agree, like over time it gets better because they're no longer Craig's words, they sort of become your words, right? So, as you...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, there is no question, it is more difficult to get a hold of people today than it used to be years ago. Would you agree with this? Back in the 1970s, the reason people had answering machines is because they didn't want to miss a call. Today, people have caller ID because they don't want to take a call.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely true.
It is. And now you're going to find that some of the campaigns and some of the media produce leads that are easier to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I do like print. Well, some of them, of course, give you online will give you false information. But even if it's a real phone number, the key is to get a hold of these. Now, the other technique that we talked about earlier today, Michelle, was if it goes to voicemail, immediately hitting redial and calling them back. Have you tried that?
Yes, all the time.
And
every single one, I try that.
Okay.
Maybe out of every 5, that'll be successful.
Well, look, if even if you weren't getting any better than getting 1 of every 5, we could still make money with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
it seems that people are so far from actually pulling the trigger, though.
Well, then I would experiment with different campaigns in different media. So think of marketing like fishing. Okay, if I was the world's greatest fishing guide and I took you out and we went out in the Pacific Ocean and we were fishing, I could tell you through my own experience, well, if you want to catch this kind of fish, this is where you want to go and this is the time of day you want to go out and this is the bait that you want to use. So it sounds like you're not happy with the fish you're catching, so we've got to change the bait.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No,
right?
We're going to have to do that.
Well,
yeah, we'll talk to Lester.
Well, remember at first you were frustrated because you weren't generating leads at all. So now you're generating some leads, but you're not able
about
to
4 or 5 a day.
Right. Okay. Well, you 4 or 5 a day. I mean, that's not hitting the ball out of the park, but it's a start because prior to this you weren't generating 4 or 5 a day, so it's getting better. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Like to generate 4 or 5 a day and not be able to reach them and not be able to convert them still doesn't put money in the bank account. So it's a process, right? You're on a journey here, and you've got a great coach working with you. But I would definitely get on the phone with Les, tell him you're talking to me today, and explain to him exactly what's going on. If we can't make it work, and sometimes we can't make a certain campaign or a certain medium work, but we just switch to a different bait. Let's run a different ad, and maybe we don't decide that Facebook in its entirety doesn't work, but a different campaign on Facebook will produce a better quality lead or somebody that answers the phone, or maybe Facebook's not going to be the media for you. You're going to have to try something else.
Mm-hmm. I have another question. What do you do when you have a lead and initially they've been nice and then they just get frustrated and hang up? But now I find that they've come back as a lead again.
I definitely call them. Yep, I'd call them back and I'd say, I would say, hey, Michelle, it's Craig here. You remember talking to me a couple weeks ago. I noticed that you just requested whatever, and I wanted to follow up with you again and see if you still had any moving plans over the next couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they're still shopping and they're still requesting information tells me either they got way too much time on their hands or they're a prospect they're going to buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
You see, here's another thing too. If they're seller leads and you know their address because you've sent them out information, one of the things you can do is cross-reference their address into MLS. So if I was to do this research and I was to type in the seller addresses of all my seller leads I've generated over the last couple months, and I see that after contacting me, they eventually listed their home with another agent a couple weeks or a couple months later, that would tell me, well, I am catching pretty good fish, right? Like these are real sellers because eventually they're listing their home with someone else. Now, we can't do that with buyers, obviously, because there's no MLS for buyers, but with sellers, it's fairly easy. And I used to do this on my real estate team every once in a while, and I would bring the list into our Monday morning meetings, and I would say, to my agents that were following up the leads, I'd say, well, look, Carol, here's 5 seller leads that we generated in the last month that you either didn't talk to or you spoke to them, and in your notes you're saying, well, it wasn't a very good lead, but they all listed their home within a couple weeks. They might not have been good for you, but they were good for Century 21. So when we see that happening a lot, and it's not that, I'm going to convert them all or you or any of us are going to convert them all, but if we see it happening a lot, it tells me, hey, there's something we got to learn because we're actually getting, qualified sellers contacting us before they list their home, but for whatever reason, they're listing with someone else. So like I said earlier to Ellen, it's not the once in a while that we're worried about, but when we see trends like this, it's like, okay, I can't stick my head in the sand. There's something we got to learn here. Anyway, I better move on to the next caller. It was great talking to you today, Michelle. But
Thank you, Craig.
Do ring Lester because he loves you and he wants to help you.
And Craig, before we move on, now that we're past the top of the hour, I would like to remind our members we have several awesome webinar training sessions coming up this week, depending on what group you're in. So please check the coaching site under webinars. And then it's going to list everything.
When you log on, it tells you about all the webinars, all the training sessions that are scheduled for you. Now, I'm going a little longer here today because we do have a new group from Fort Lauderdale with us, but we are going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so. So let's take a couple more questions before we do that.
Okay. Linda had emailed me a question. She also typed it in, so I'll go ahead and address hers. It says, currently I'm running an ad on Facebook. The landing page is set up, but the ad is about free list of homes with pools. She lives in Florida. She felt this would attract so many leads. As of yet, she hasn't finished work to determine who her target area is. So I included reference to our MLS area. I guess I can change the ad, but I would really like to know what area responds to homes with pools. After 1 week, I've only had 2 responses with correct email addresses, none with correct phone numbers. I've responded with a list of homes with pools in 2 specific areas and have asked them to notify me if they would like information in other areas. No response yet.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that in Florida, homes with pools, that's not unique because I would think that most homes have pools. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I know in my marketplace, it is unique, mostly, Andrea, because summer is like 8 weeks long. All I can say is what I've said earlier here today is we're going to test the different ads. If you are running the homes with pool ad and you've tested it in a certain medium, you could run that ad in different media. Okay, you could run it in different places. We certainly don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to run the homes with pool or any campaign once and it doesn't work and we decide, okay, that's never going to work for me because it might be just where you're running it. But if you've tested that campaign, Homes with Pools, in several different media, and it's just not doing it for you, you're not generating leads, you're not generating the quality of leads, then yeah, I would move on. And this is what I want to reinforce. Not every single campaign that I give you folks is going to work equally as well for everybody. Some of them are going to work better than others. So just know that. And that's the purpose of testing, is the only person that's going to know what works best for you is Mr. Market. Okay, Mr. Market will always tell you. The real beauty of my system is we've got the ability to track. And when you've got the ability to track the return on investment, then you can test one ad versus another, one media versus another media, one target market versus another target market. And I promise you this, if you go through this testing process that I'm describing, if you test the different ads, the different media, the different message, there will be winners. There'll be some approaches that work far, far better than other approaches, and now you know. You know, it's like when they're drilling for oil. I was reading something recently about, they were interviewing a guy that was drilling for oil. And the reporter was talking to him about this drilling for oil over the last couple of months, and the guy was frustrated. The guy drilling for oil was frustrated, and the reporter said to him, "But isn't that why you were drilling for oil, to see if there was oil there? Like, what are you so upset for? You found out there wasn't any oil there." That's what we're doing with marketing. Okay, we don't know what's going to be the biggest home run for you until we go through this testing process. So that's what we want to do. And every Friday, including this Friday, we will be doing a webinar on marketing and advertising. We call it an ad clinic. This is your opportunity to upload your ads, to have me critique them, to listen to me critique other members' ads. So we get better and better and better at this. All right, let's take a couple more and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, from Randy, should a Facebook page campaign be branded or unbranded?
Well, you could do both. Rick Brash does an excellent job of running less branded ads. With a less branded approach, by the way, in my experience, you'll generate more leads. Now, the argument for branded ads is when you're promoting your unique selling proposition, a guaranteed sale program or performance guarantee. Well, of course you want that campaign associated with you. I mean, that's what a branded ad is supposed to be. Not an image ad that says, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent," but you're with the branded approach. You want to associate your unique selling proposition with your identity. So when people think of you, they immediately think of this big benefit that's attached to your identity. So in this program, we're going to teach you both branded advertising and less branded. That's why I have, through Success website, I have a branded page. Andrea, if you can go to craigproctorsite.com, this is my branded page. Okay, there's people that know Craig Proctor in my community and they love Craig Proctor, and when they want to buy or sell, they would go to the craigproctorsite.com. But there's even more people in my marketplace that not only don't want to talk to Craig Proctor, they don't want to talk to any real estate agent. So they're going to go to my less branded page at yorkregionhomesales.com, where they really don't know that this information is coming from a real estate agent. That's why once in a while they'll say, "Hey, I didn't know this was coming from a realtor." That just means you did a pretty good job of flying underneath their advertising radar. So we got the branded and the less branded. All right, let's take a final question and then we'll let everyone get out there and sell some houses.
Okay, our final question. We have so many. So give me a second. Let me figure out the best final question.
It's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We've got some really good questions, so it's hard to pick just one. Edgar, we'll go with this one for Edgar. How to recruit new agents, what to offer, where to recruit.
Okay, once you build your business using this lead generation system, you're going to get to the point where you say to yourself, "I can't do this all by myself," right? Some of you who've been with the program for a while are already at that point where the lead generation system's working. Remember, my promise to all of you is I'm going to show you how to generate slightly more leads than you can handle. That's what you're working on with your coach here. We want to generate more leads than we can handle, so we have the power of choice. But as it ramps up and you realize, well, there's more leads and more buyers and sellers I could possibly work with, you'll get to the point where you probably want to hire somebody. You might want to start by hiring an administrative person that takes care of all the paperwork. They take care of all the activities that don't require a real estate license. They take all of that off your shoulders. So now you could focus on working with more buyers and sellers. You're focusing on the license stuff. But even at some point, you won't even be able to work with all the buyers and sellers. So now you want to hire an outside sales agent. The easiest way to do this, Edgar, and to answer your question, is you're going to leverage all these leads you have. How many real estate agents in your community are kind of starving to death, but they're good agents, right? There are lots of really skilled real estate agents that are forced out of the business every single year, not because they don't know what to do when they get in front of a buyer or seller, but because they don't have buyers and sellers to get in front of. Even the world's greatest salesperson will starve to death without leads. So you're the person with the leads. That's the advantage you have. You're going to, if Andrea was an agent, a good agent that I knew, maybe she works at my brokerage, maybe she doesn't, I would say, hey, Andrea, look, I was wondering if you might be interested in having a conversation of maybe partnering up, because I can't keep up with all the buyer and seller leads that I have. And Andrea, if she's not generating a lot of leads, she might say, well, yeah, why don't we go grab a coffee? I might be interested in talking about that. So you could even start off by I could refer Andrea a couple leads where I just get a 25% referral, and she works at a completely different company. But after, a couple of referrals, I'd say, so see, Andrea, I actually am able to refer you a lot of quality buyer and seller leads. But if we're going to continue this relationship, I'm going to recommend that you come and you work with me at my office, and we'll go on some kind of a split, and we'll talk at the conferences about the different splits, the different ways you can compensate your team members. Andrea has on the screen right now our Quantum Leap Team System Manual, and I don't know how many pages. I can't remember how many pages are in this manual, but I think it's like 100 and something.
Yeah, it's.
How many pages?
Let's see. We're at 116 now. 116.
All right, so go to the index and let's show everybody. This is everything you need to know about team building. Basically, I put everything in one manual for you on the coaching site. So yeah, leveraging yourself with people, strategically designing your team. If you want to keep scrolling there, Andrea, please. Okay, the DISC personality test, the recruiting system, the hiring system, the training system, and the managing system. Okay, you can read this online. You can print it off if you want. But great stuff here. Everything you want to know. The position contract. So here are all the contracts that I use for all the different people on my team. You can model after those. Here are the recruitment ads that I used. Here's the hotline scripts. You see, I wanted the agents to call in and leave me a message so I could hear their voice. Andrea's got some of those ads on the screen right now. So everything you want to know about recruiting and hiring, training and managing, you'll find some great information on the coaching site. In fact, a lot of the questions that you have would be answered if you folks would spend a little bit of time on the coaching site. We've got really like 15 years of awesome resources that are continually being updated. You want to check it out if you haven't had a chance to do that. I want you guys all to be successful. I want to say this in just finishing off here. I really do. That's what this is all about. You've all been assigned a one-on-one coach. Make sure that you keep those consultations. Try to get to all of our events. Try to make it onto all the live webinars, even though I know they're recorded. And I know that sometimes you just can't because, you're out there, you're selling real estate, you've got buyers and sellers. But whenever possible, try to come on the live webinars here so I'd rather speak with you rather than talk at you. Anyway, I want to, again, welcome all of our brand new coaching members. It started at the Fort Lauderdale conference a week or so ago. We're going to see a lot of you at the Anaheim event in the middle of April. And then we've got a boot camp for our brand new Florida members, or any coaching member can come to the one in Fort Lauderdale. If you can flash that back up on the screen again, Andrea, I just want to draw everyone's attention. Oh, here they are right here. Okay, thank you, Andrea. So May 13th in Fort Lauderdale, we've got a coaching boot camp. Okay, nobody's going to sell you anything. This is just about us teaching you how to use the system, answering all your questions. Okay, and then you can see June 24th, we've got another coaching boot camp on the West Coast. So we got one on the East Coast, May 13th, one on the West Coast in Huntington Beach, California on June 24th. So we'll wrap it up for today. We're 90 minutes into this. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the program. And that concludes today's helpline.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon. Talk to you all soon.